Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome to this version of Bundle Live. I'm super excited to have my guest here, Michelle Pontvert. We're going over all things digital products, how to get started. You are going to want to tune in to hear her story and to learn more about creating digital products. Welcome to the show, Michelle.
Hi, thanks so much for having me. This is going to be fun.
Oh my goodness. Thank you so much. I know it's late where you're at, right? Is that
Not too
right?
bad. I'm in
Okay.
France, but I used to live in the States, so I know how the time zones go.
Right. And I mean, honestly, we're just waking up on this side of the pond. So, but that's okay. We're going to do what we have to do to make sure that
Mhm.
you guys learn what you have to learn. First off, I would love to know a little bit about you and your business, kind of how you came to be. And then we're going to get into digital products and getting started because I know a lot of our folks in the bundle this week are kind of getting started. How do they create a digital product business? So tell us a little bit about you and, your business.
Yeah, so I'm Michelle Pontvert. I run the Business Chic Shop, which is a online store all for online business owners. I have tools, templates, and trainings to help streamline and simplify running a business, particularly if you've got other stuff going on. I am a mum, I'm neurodivergent, I'm the mum of a neurodivergent kid, and I am an expat living in France. It's a whole thing, and I really wanted to make resources that past me would have really appreciated as I was trying to get started, get things going, and think more strategically about how I'm building structure for myself to succeed. Because as a solo business owner, we're just one person, but it doesn't mean that
Mhm.
we can't think sort of cleverly about how we set things up so we're succeeding long term. So that's what basically I sell and what I talk about and all the stuff I have going on.
Well, I love what you said about that you create products that you know, the me that you were, starting out would want. And I love that idea for anyone who is, starting their business or thinking about, what are things I could want, what did I need at some point starting out in my business or learning whatever it is I'm learning. So I absolutely love that. Talk to us a little bit because there's kind of two paths to getting started, right?
Yeah.
Can you talk to us a little bit about what those paths are and kind of like, go down one of those paths for us? And if you're like, that's me, like self-identify in the comments and let us know you're
Yeah.
here this morning and let us know, hey, yeah, that's me, and engage with us. So we'd love that. So Michelle, yeah, what are
Yeah.
those two paths kind of creating digital products?
Yeah, so when we set out to create digital products, we're usually coming from somewhere. We're either already business owners, and maybe we are shifting from selling our services, done for you work. We're a consultant, we're a freelancer, maybe we're doing some virtual assistant work, and we're wanting to add a more passive income stream to that service based business. So that's the one path. That's who I mostly hang out with and serve. But the other side of it is people who are just starting their business to sell products. And a lot of the time, I see those people go into online marketplaces. So that's things like Etsy and Creative Market, even Amazon with the KDP like book publishing that you can get into.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the other direct path. That is usually stuff that people get into borrowing other people's audiences
Mhm.
because you need to sell through those marketplaces to reach a large amount of people to make any kind of real income early on. Because as we all know, digital products are wonderful, but have to be a little bit more affordable because they are more bite-sized, they are more approachable as products, and something that isn't going to sell huge volumes right off the gate unless we
Right.
have someone to sell it to. So
Right.
I see those two different paths as really like the for digital product creators starting out going to those marketplaces, and then service providers who are transitioning from services to digital products and kind of productizing the things that they've already been doing in their service work. Um, so both of those, both really viable, very different approaches, and both have a similarity with like wanting to be thoughtful about the products you're creating and having a plan for getting those products in front of the people who are going to buy them.
Yeah, talk to us a little bit because especially if you're someone who's coming from that place of I have I'm not a service provider, I'm
Mm-hmm.
starting my digital product business because I find that a lot of the folks inside this bundle digital products made easy is saying that hey, I want to start a digital product business, and you talked about the different platforms there. I'd love to go
Yeah,
into that a little bit if we could
sure.
because a lot of people think, okay, let me go straight to those platforms. Do you think that's a good idea? How do we kind of get started, and especially since those platforms in itself can be really super like intimidating. With I gotta learn the platform, that could be
Yeah.
super intimidating. Go ahead and tell us about that if you could.
Yeah, so basically, when we're very first starting out, we need to get products in front of someone, and there's so many different ways you can do that. It feels like the easy way is to borrow those big platforms, those Etsy's, those Amazons, those creative markets, because they're already set up. But what we face when we put products on those sorts of platforms is competing with all the other people who had that bright idea as well, and needing to compete with those people who have potentially had much more time, effort, money poured into optimizing their profiles, optimizing their products to show up in the search results when people are typing in Etsy, like, oh, I really want something like, I don't know, a wedding planner. They've had a lot more behind them to get their product to show up high on the search results. So as much as it sounds easier, it has its own set of challenges. The other approach is to start selling directly for yourself, creating your own website, creating your own shop, and starting to put your products up there, which cuts out that competition. When someone's on your website, on your shop, it's just you, it's just your stuff. So you have all the control there. The tricky part of that solution is you need to then get people to that website.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of like picking your heart. Would you like to put the work in to learn another person's platform, learn how to play in that sort of bigger pond, potentially have to go into paying for ads to get visibility to start selling your products? Or are you willing to put in maybe a little bit more time and longer term efforts to really build up your website's visibility, and optimize that so that you actually control the website where your products are being sold? Personally, I'm a bigger fan of having control and building businesses for the long term.
Me too.
But I understand if you want short-term money and you have some money to play with, playing with ads and those platforms can be a really great start as well. So it's kind of pick your heart.
Yeah, pick your heart. And penguin designing. That's Ingrid. That's Ingrid. I recognize your face. Ingrid said, "Love that, picking your heart." It's the truth, because the fact of the matter is that yes, you get put in front of audiences if you pick a platform. However, I'm very much on the team of go ahead and make your product. You are the product in many ways, as far as I'm concerned. I know that a lot of people like to put a wall in front of them. I want to talk about that, Michelle, because
Yeah.
when people put that wall in front of them, quite frankly, there's very very few times I see a strategy that's different, that's innovative, where I'm like, oh my goodness, that blew me up. Very few times. So what ends up attracting me to people is the person. I
Mm-hmm.
love how they are. I love how they teach. I love how they, who they are. Let's talk a little bit about that, because I know that's
Yes.
a really huge thing for people, is they like to put a wall in front. This is this is a business in front of me. It's not me. I'm team put yourself out there when it comes to making these products. What is your view on that? How do we navigate that, especially starting out? I never, I didn't want my face shown. Like,
Mm-hmm.
Fempreneur Online, that's what it is. It's not Nicole Beatty at all. Talk to us a little bit about that, because I know people in the comments are saying, yeah, that's me. I get what you're saying.
It can be really confronting. I mean, I'm an introvert. I didn't love the idea of putting my face out there on my business, on my website. But ultimately, when we kind of step this out of the online space, when we're buying something in our real lives, like going down the road and buying something, do you prefer to have some kind of interaction with a human? Or do you like to just buy things from a vending machine? You can do both, but it is a very different experience. And when we're looking to create people who will buy again from us, who will come back and be regulars, who will refer us to other people so that other people come back and buy our stuff, getting to know the people you are selling to, getting to know the people we buy from, can make a really big difference in that connection point. And we as humans really like other people. Like, we're very social as creatures, and we
Right.
connect really easily with people. There's been lots of studies around the psychology of actually using faces in our marketing, in our websites.
Mhm.
And even if we're not models, putting our beautiful smiling faces out there where people can connect with our eyes, can look at us and see that we are real humans behind this business that we put together, because we're not coming out as Amazon or Etsy. We are not those huge, big brands with big corporations behind us. It's actually much more endearing and much more of a connection point for someone who's looking to buy from a small business, who is maybe on an Etsy or on a small business's website specifically because they want to buy from a small independent business, to know that someone real, quote unquote, has put the
Yes.
work in and made this thing for someone like them. And that, I think, is the unfair advantage of being a small business owner.
Mhm.
And it's sort of to your disservice to not use that. That is your advantage. Putting yourself forward gives people an opportunity to connect and fall in love with your story, what you have to say, how you say it, how you teach it, like you mentioned, Nicole. And I think that's the magic that ultimately will make your business memorable, make it referable, and make it stand out amongst all the other things, particularly in digital products where we are, I'm going to say, almost never creating anything 100% original. We're
Absolutely.
creating versions, twists, ideas on something that already exists. We're creating templates, we're creating resources, and it's our spin, it's our flavor. That's what makes it special. That's what makes it
Mhm.
unique. That's what makes it desirable. So capitalizing on that magic that is you is what's going to make it sort of kick off and really stick around in people's minds.
Absolutely. You quite frankly succinctly said exactly what I wanted to say, but I didn't say it that way. No, but truthfully, and I hope that people kind of re-listen to what she said, especially if you're on the fence of whether or not you show who you are in
Yeah.
your digital product business, because again, there's but so much newness, new strategy that we're gonna, especially in the world as we start thinking about PLR really becoming a
Mm-hmm.
really huge thing in digital products and getting, I have nothing against PLR. I'm going to say it out loud. I have nothing against, but what makes it work and what I feel people must do is insert themselves
Yes.
in the product. They can't just say, here's, let me take this product that's PLR, I'm going to sell it and just do nothing to it and not infuse themselves. You have to do it. Especially, I wrote down influencer as you were talking. In the world of influencer marketing, that person, it doesn't matter who's selling it. If they've connected with that person, that influencer, if you will, and I'm not talking about the Kim K's or anything, but if they have connected with that influencer, that person who they're seeing on the screen, then they're more likely to buy something. So
Yeah.
you did a perfect job explaining that. Let her know that, you guys, you did a perfect job. And I hope that it does kind of change some folks' mind towards putting their faces first in there. Let's talk about the other part of it, service providers. And if you're a service provider, I'd love for you to comment about this, adding digital products to your business as a service provider. Why should we do that? Because, you're like, well, I make more, and some people may think I make higher ticket money as a service provider. Why should I go down and, I'm not selling nothing for $9, that's kind of sometimes the service provider mentality.
Yeah.
Can you talk to us a little bit about that and, why adding digital products to service providers is so important?
Yeah, well, I'm going to make it personal. This is my journey. So I started my business as a website designer. Previously, I had worked in film and TV and then in marketing, and I was getting really burnt out working for other people. So I started my own business and I started selling my services. And for a while, that was great. It was really fun. I got to do creative work. But ultimately, taking on other people's work, other people's sort of priorities, taking care of other people started to be really heavy for me as a human. And I found taking on more and more clients just not that sustainable. And while, yes, I could increase my prices, it started to become harder to book the right kinds of clients. It started to feel heavier to take on that kind of work. And I reached a point in my personal life where I just couldn't really sustain that type of business anymore. So digital products basically saved my business, saved my sanity for sure, because I was able to package up the things I knew, the processes I was using, the assets, the resources I'd already been creating inside of my client work, and turn them into products I could sell to multiple people without having to show up and actually take on the weight of that client responsibility, take on those deadlines, take on that sort of pressure of working with someone one-on-one. It really helped me preserve my introvert energy, helped me as a neurodivergent person to work in a way that really works from my personality. Like, it helped me show up in a happier place because I was able to really pour my love into something and then sell it to people who were really excited to buy it without feeling that obligation to then deliver upon it personally one-on-one.
Yeah.
So from a just like energy space, it was so much healthier for me personally. But I think even if I'd stuck with my digital products and my services together, what I found was, sure, right off the bat, I wasn't making a fortune from the digital products, but it definitely added a little bit to the bottom line every month. And as I got to, get that word out there that I had these digital products, it started to pick up more steam and more steam. And I've created this sort of, now my primary income source, but a secondary income for a while, that really helped take the pressure off, made taking vacations much easier, didn't put so much pressure on those client projects, really helped me just make it easier on myself.
Yeah, I love the fact that you said it takes the pressure off, especially when you're in the service provider thing of it all. I got to get the next, I got to get the next client, I got to, build, I got to build, I got to build. And we start thinking about, that burnout. I got to get the next, I got to get the next, I got to get the next ends up being kind of the thought process. So having that space to say, here, I have digital products, it can buffer, it could take, it could truly take that pressure off of things, is really good. And again, Ingrid's in there saying that she's a web designer, and she transitioned into digital products. I know she did. And repurposing what you're doing as a service provider is going to make your product even better. You've been there, you've done that, you've helped your clients do that. And some people are like, well, maybe they haven't actually done it. I came from doing virtual events. I was a service provider there, but I hadn't done my own virtual event. And people will think, well, I don't have any experience. Yeah, you do. You do it for others. That is your experience. And I definitely connect with you when you said the burnout. It's a lot as a service provider, having to pour something into somebody else's business and wanting to see the result, right? You're just as invested in that outcome as them.
Yeah,
So,
and I found, sorry, I just wanted to add.
Yeah, go ahead.
I also found that it made it really a lot less precious selling on sales calls, even when I was still taking those clients, because even if they didn't have the budget to work with me, I still had something I could help them with. Yes. They were never walking off that call with no solution. And previously it was like, oh, I'll refer you to this, I'll refer you to that. And I finally had a suite of offers that met people where they were at, regardless of what their budget was, what their scope was, what they needed. And it just felt so much lighter trying to sell that way. I actually moved kind of into a more productized service way of selling, where I had my services just listed on my website and people could purchase straight off the website the service. And I found that people were filtering themselves much more easily between my done for you high-end custom stuff, those productized services that they could just book and I would do it, and then the digital products themselves. And I was selling to most people who came my way, rather than previously when I just had the services. You'd have sales conversations, you'd have emails, you'd have inquiries, and there was a decent chunk of people who would just never come back around. And it felt so much nicer to be able to serve everyone. It also captured a lot more of that hard work I'd put into getting those leads in the first place. So it had a really nice trickle-on effect as well.
Absolutely. I wanted to talk kind of like where, if somebody's starting out with digital products, like what, in your opinion, would be their first product they should really be focused on trying to create? Because everyone has that, was analysis paralysis, where it's well, maybe I need to create a course, and maybe I need to create this or that. Well, before I even go there, let's just list a few digital products. Like, when we say digital products, what are we talking about? Because that in itself sometimes can be a hiccup for people who hear about what digital products are and immediately go, okay, I'm going to create a course. Like that, and then they think signature course. And then they start thinking, $1,000. They start going, whoa, like yeah, they go way over. You're like, whoa, hold on,
Yeah.
you're doing a lot. Let's just list some digital products, some examples, if you
Yeah.
could.
Sure. So my personal favorites are templates. I love templates of all kinds. I started off with website templates. I've got some copy templates, some sales page templates, but basically where you can give people the frame of something that they need to create where they can fill in their bits and then have a finished result. That is basically a time saver and a expertise saver all in one. I love templates. But
By the
things
way,
like
she has her template, Thrivecart Tripwire Template, inside of Digital Products Made Easy. It is free inside there until the end of the bundle. So if you want her template, you can get a taste of it inside the bundle. Okay, go ahead, Michelle.
yeah, I love me a template. So templates are wonderful. I love guides, books, ebooks, basically packaging up any kind of information into something that people can consume in their own time. I've seen people do really well just packaging up their best blog posts into an ebook.
Yeah,
It's stuff you've already created. You just put it in one place, so it's nice and easy for people to consume
absolutely.
at leisure. Then there are things like worksheets and spreadsheets and any kind of tools that people can use. I'm not really talking about like apps kind of tools, but tools people can use with easy software they already have. Calculators, workbooks, those things do really well. And then you can have things like education trainings, audio courses, video courses. I hazard to say that like those big signature programs aren't even really in the same realm because that often requires some level of support, some level of engagement from the teacher, the educator behind it. Well, for me, digital products are those like beautifully passive things that you create, and then people can consume them on their own time, get from them what they need, and then move on. They're much more actionable and bite-sized. So I'm sure there's dozens of other kinds, but those are my personal favorite
No,
kinds.
I totally agree with you when you say that. I kind of hesitate to even throw the word course in the digital product space because of the fact that courses oftentimes need support. They need a little bit more guidance. You can't possibly give them everything they're going to need and answer every single question, of course. Whereas that digital product is the smaller part of it. Yeah, again, I say the word PLR here right now because I know that some people are going to say, okay, well, I don't think I can, or whatever, I don't think I can write or that sort of thing. So they go and get a PLR. And I'm just going to talk about it right now because it's a hot topic and I've been hearing it, especially a lot in my audience right now. Again, I have no issue with PLR, but you got to include yourself in it. You have to update it to make it make sense for you, your audience, etc. What are your thoughts on it, Michelle? Because I don't know if it's a competition for digital product. I don't know. I feel like it can work together, but I can definitely see how it can kind of bring down the digital product space in some ways. But it can be really great. So what do you think, Michelle?
I think like anything, we can sometimes get overexcited by the idea of a shortcut. And I think when we take a shortcut as what it truly is meant to be, which is a shortcut to the end result, I think you can actually have a really big benefit from taking those shortcuts. It shortens the time to get there. But we can't skip those essential steps of putting in, like you said, your perspective, why you are selling this, what is interesting about this version of this PLR product. I think that's what makes it ultimately sellable as your own product versus just a repackaging of something someone else has created. And especially as small business owners, as solopreneurs, what I mentioned previously about your magic is the you of all of this. So you're doing yourself a disservice to just turn around and resell something someone else has created without inserting that magic into it. I think where it can go wrong is when people get scared to show up and feel that pressure of perfectionism and hide behind the PLR product instead of doing the vulnerable, scary thing of putting your own perspectives out there, your own value into it. And I think it's that like safety blanket that maybe can get a little dangerous if you are a perfectionist and you do struggle with that piece. So I would say be cautious if that's you. You probably know if it's you or not. And to be brave to put some of you in there too.
Yeah. Look, a Facebook user just put How about using AI instead of PLR? That's a really good
Yeah.
comparison there. We're not hyping on PLR. I love it. I think it definitely
No.
can be helpful to for a lot of different uses. AI as well is kind of coming in there and making it where people are creating entire products using I think it's no different than PLR as far as I'm
Mhm.
concerned, because quite frankly, AI can give the same result to multiple people. So what
Yeah.
is it that we do with AI? You have to put yourself in it.
Yeah.
You can't just say, here's my AI product. I get that it's cute, or some people think it's cool or whatever, like, oh, I'm gonna make so many, products with AI. But again, if you don't insert yourself, it doesn't make sense.
No.
What do you
And
think?
think about it from the perspective of what you like to buy. Like,
Mhm.
we as consumers are picky. We do care about what we're giving over our hard-earned money for. And I think we can tell when heart has been put into something, when thought has been put into something. And I'm not saying that there can't be heart and thought put into PLR and AI
Yeah.
generated sort of products, but I think what feels really good to buy is something that someone has put some of themselves into. And I think that's again going into this idea of, as a small business, investing in that human element that we have, that is what is going to make your business catch on, is what people are going to remember, is what's going to help them come back and buy from you again, refer you to their friends, add reviews to your website, try and get you in front of people because they loved what that was about, what you inserted into that product. And I think, again, the shortcut is fine. It's great. Take the shortcut.
Yeah, take it.
But just don't forget that one step of adding you in.
Absolutely. I cannot stress that enough. I had a question before about the
Hmm.
digital product. What do you
Yeah.
think is the first kind of starter, especially for people who are listening? Would be a great starter digital product in your opinion that
Mm.
they could do
Oh
for
my
their
gosh.
business?
I am the biggest believer of the MVP model, the minimally viable product. Do
Gotcha.
the minimum thing that you can actually do, get it out there as reasonably quickly as you can, and just see what happens. You cannot know, no matter how much research you do, no matter how much thinking you do, how strategically you try and plan it, you don't know how well something's going to do until you put it out into the world and try your best to see if it works. So I really believe it's one of those things where you just have to kind of show up and do the scary and put your stuff out there and see what
Yeah.
resonates, see what people like from you, and then tweak and adjust and improve and optimize what you've got and what you create after, with that information from real people who've handed over real money for what you are saying and selling, versus trying to guess and perfect it behind the scenes
Hmm.
before putting anything out there. I think that's the biggest trap, is to try and make it perfect, quote unquote,
Mm.
before selling, before doing that scary work of showing up, because you don't know. You don't know what's going to resonate. Even if you think you've done a great amount of market research, I promise you, you don't know until someone is giving you money. You don't know
Yes.
what they're going to pay for. So
Oh.
save yourself all that stress, all that time, all that worry, and just put something you can stand behind, that you do believe in, but is like pared down, easy, minimal, as
Hmm.
simple as it can be. And if your service provider is something you already use with your clients, is probably a great starting point. If you have forms you have them fill in, maybe there's some information there. If you have some process you can video and teach people how to do. If you're coming from just starting a digital product business from scratch, is there something in your real life or your previous expertise you already know really well and can speak with some authority on, whether that's crochet or medicine, whatever it is, and in between? Come with some sense of authority and knowledge and confidence, and do the easiest possible thing you can with that, and then put it in front of people and see what happens, because it really is the only way to move forward.
Oh, that is so good. And I definitely hope that you guys are listening to Michelle. Rewind and go back and say, hey, I think I need to listen to that, because that was me. That is her. She's talking to me.
I'm
Amen. And for
channeling
those
you.
who, yeah, for those who, amen, you need to put it in the comments, because if that's you, amen. I get it. I get it, Michelle. That is awesome. let's go into where people can find you, because I know one place people can find you is inside the bundle. Digital Products Made Easy. It ends on November. You believe it's November? It's November, right?
Yeah.
It's November the 14th is the last day for people to get into the bundle and grab all the goodies in there. Yours especially is in there, the Thrivecart Tripwire Template, excuse me. It's a really awesome template, and she said she loves her templates, and it will definitely help you, especially in that lead generation. How do I get money during lead generation, right? So how do I get that passive income while creating leads? Tell us where we can find you and all the things.
Yeah, so I'm really easy to find online. I'm the only Michelle Pontvert out there. So you can find me on my website, which is michellepontvert.com. I'm on Facebook. I'm on Instagram. I'm not that good on Instagram. So if you do message me, just give me a heads up, maybe on Facebook as well. I have a blog I put out every week with lots of tips and resources for entrepreneurs for creating digital products and courses. So that's a really great free resource. And then I have a whole bunch of freebies on my website. Maybe my favorite one at the moment is a guide I put together with my favorite out-of-the-box ways to get past procrastination and moving on your to-do list. It's called my unsticking tricks. And it's just like 5 kind of creative ways to get moving when bullying yourself to do things isn't working and you need some help with that motivation piece.
There we go. That sounds awesome. And you guys have so many different resources that are available right now. Again, anything inside the bundle is available for free that normally people are charging for. So you want to make sure that you get in on that. Also, November 14th, I have a special training event that I hope you guys come to. It is live. But I do live, and that's just what I do. Anyway, it's called How to Create 10 Digital Products to Sell Out Faster Than an NSYNC Reunion Tour. I don't know. I just said, hey, I'm going to create that title because right now we are all clamoring for NSYNC Reunion Tour. So I just thought that was kind of cute. But anyway, make sure you come to that live November 14th. Go to the actual, get in your email, especially if you're in the bundle, right? If you're in the bundle, go inside of your email. It says how to get a part of that training event. I want to make sure that you are there for that. Thank you guys for joining us live. If you're here live, if you're here on a replay, thank you for joining us on the replay. Let us know in the comments what is the thing that resonated the most with you. I'm sure Michelle will be able to check it out, answer questions if need be. But get inside the bundle, get her template ASAP. Even if you're like, go on a third card, no problem. No problem. She still has awesome, amazing products inside her business that you should still be checking out. And one of the ways to get on her list to learn more about her is through this template. So go ahead and check that out. Thank you again for joining us. Thank you, Michelle, for joining us. Yay.
Thanks for having me.
All right. Bye, guys. Have a great day.
Bye.